The Sealed Book of Mormon, chapter 23. And it came to pass that after Adam had spoken unto his children at Adiamondiaman, he caused to be written all those things which he had said. And when these things had been written according to his commandment, he sent them unto all parts of the land, unto all of his posterity. And he gave special instructions to those who carried these words forth, even that they should go in among the children of Cain and the descendants of Benelli, and give unto them the commandments of the Lord. And it came to pass that as soon as those who carried forth his words entered in among the children of Cain, they were bound and tortured and slain, and the words that they carried forth were destroyed. And when word came unto Adam that his words had been destroyed, and that those that had carried them forth had been killed, he became desirous that he should go personally to his children who had rejected his words, and who truly were his beloved children, that they might show unto him respect, and that they might listen to him. But the sons of Adam, and those whom he had gathered together that they might discuss this matter, dissuaded him that he might not go in among them. For the Cainites had become a wild and ferocious people, and had been taught to hate their brothers and sisters, who were the other sons and daughters of Adam, even those who had not been banished out of the land by Adam in the day of their father Cain. And the descendants of Benelli were the more intelligent of those who did not give heed unto the words of Adam. And these Benelites stirred up the Cainites to anger against the sons and daughters of Adam, who did not belong to their families and to their communities. For the Benelites had for many years established a means of trade and industry with the Cainites, even that the Cainites performed all the labours for the Benelites, so that these did not have to work with their own hands. And because the words of Adam condemned their works, and would be the means of ending their trade with the Cainites, thus forcing them to work by the sweat of their own brow, these Benelites stirred up the Cainites to anger against the children of Adam, even those who listened to his words. For the Cainites were a very strong people as to the strength of a man, because of the labours that they performed for the Benelites. And the righteous sons of Adam were also strong as to the strength of a man, yet their strength was in the health of their marrow, and the strength of their bones, which strength was increased by the Spirit of God, which was in them. But the Cainites were much stronger than the other sons of Adam, because of the intense physical labour that they did perform daily to sustain the lives of the Benelites, who they had accepted as their leaders. And at this time ore and iron and steel, nor any other metal, had not yet been discovered among the children of men, for these things were not necessary to sustain life, but were introduced later to the children of men by Satan, who used these things to augment the means of force and the armies that he useth to cause wars and horror upon the earth, as he had promised. And during the time of Adam, the men did often engage in feats of strength, but these games were done in love and compassion for those with whom they competed. And it did not matter among them who was stronger than another, for they that were strong used their strength for the benefit of the weak. And among the righteous children of Adam, the men did not know how to use their strength to take the life of another, nor were they trained in using their strength to defend themselves. But the Cainites were expert at the art of fighting and conquering. Yea, the games among them were fought to the death, and he that was victorious over another received great honour and distinction among them. Therefore they were strong as to the skills that were necessary to conquer another. And it came to pass that the Benelites organized the Cainites into armies, and elected captains and chiefs among them. And their desire was that they should become sufficiently strong enough to invade the land of Eden, and take the sons and daughters of Adam captive, so that they could be the leaders of the whole land. And it came to pass that Adam was given word of the preparations of the Benelites and the Cainites to come in among them and take over the land. And because of this, Adam became exceedingly sorrowful, and mourned many days before the Lord, praying unto him that this thing might not come to pass. And the voice of the Lord came unto Adam, saying, Behold, it is expedient in me that I allow this thing to come to pass, for I have granted unto the children of men their agency to choose for themselves the laws by which they shall live, and the happiness that they would desire. And it is necessary that they experience all the vicissitudes of mortality, so that they shall understand the great necessity in keeping my commandments, which I have given unto them. And now, my beloved son, lift up your head, and be of good cheer. For behold, thou hast kept my commandments, and hast done all those things which I have commanded thee to do. And it is not because of your sins that your children desire to disobey my commandments, for thou hast taught them what they should do, and their sins shall be answered upon their own heads. And now a commandment I give unto thee, that thou and those who follow thee should leave the land of Eden, and make vessels in which ye can cross the great waters, and enter into a land that hath been prepared for you. And this land is not as verdant and comely as the land of Eden, but it is the land that I desire that the generations of men inhabit for their own sake. For the land of Eden shall be withheld from the knowledge of the children of men, until the time that I shall make it again known unto them. And because the children of men choose to disobey my commandments, and this because of the state of the flesh in which they are in, there shall be much wickedness throughout the world during all the future generations of thy posterity. And I will make this land of Eden a promised land unto those whom I will, and I will cause that it shall be a place of refuge and freedom for those of thy posterity that honour me and keep my commandments. And if I did not save a promised land for this purpose, then the wicked of the earth would soon overcome the righteous, and the ends of the creation of the earth would be frustrated and complicated. For the wicked shall destroy the wicked, and unless I take the righteous from among them, they will destroy the righteous also. And I would that ye should teach your children to keep my commandments in all things. And I have commanded you to love one another, and to give to him that asketh of thee, and that if ye are struck on the left, turn again the right, that it might also be struck. And I have commanded you to love your enemies, and to do good to them that hate you and persecute you, and despitefully use you. And I have covenanted with you, that if ye shall do these things, then ye shall prosper in the land. But if ye do not do these things, then ye shall perish in the land with the wicked. And if thou art to be an example to thy children of the way that they shall live, then I say unto thee, that thou shalt not fight thy enemy, but shalt give unto him that which he desireth. But thou shalt not allow thy enemy to hurt you, or to take advantage of the purity and chastity of your women. But ye shall flee before them, and allow them to have the land of Eden. And if ye shall do these things, and keep my commandments, ye shall be blessed. And I will prepare a way whereby thou and thy posterity might be saved. Now go, my son, and teach these things unto thy children. Remember that I have said, that he that shall find his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. And if ye lose your life in keeping the commandments of God, then shall ye be received in the kingdom of God in a state of never-ending happiness. But if ye live or die in your sins, ye shall be received in a state of misery. These are my words and commandments unto thee. And it came to pass that when Adam had received the word of the Lord, he called unto him all those that would give heed to his words. And when they had gathered before him, Adam recounted unto them all the words of the Lord. And there were those among them that were angered because of these words, and it was their desire that they should stand up to the Benelites and the Canaanites and defend the land against them. And there were 2 mighty and strong men among the sons of Adam, and their names were Ammoron and Amalek. And these had many sons who were like unto their fathers. And these stood forth and pledged their support to their fathers, and wanted that Adam would allow them to stand and fight the Canaanites. But Adam rebuked them, saying, Do ye know what ye are asking? Do ye realize that ye are desirous to disobey the commandments that the Lord hath given unto us? I say unto you that if we stay and fight against the Canaanites, we shall perish with them. Behold, your anger is caused by your pride, and this pride hath been put into your hearts by Satan, who would have us destroyed. And now, my beloved children, let us make haste and gather up the provisions that we are in need of, and leave this land according to the commandments of the Lord. And Ammoron and Amalek did not agree with their father Adam. Nevertheless, they knew that their numbers were not sufficient enough that they should stand alone and fight against the Canaanites. And the Benelites had placed spies among the children of Adam, and these spies acted as if they were righteous, and that they were desirous to hear the words of Adam. And after hearing the words of Adam, these spies returned again to their leaders, and told them all the things that Adam had said, and revealed unto their leaders the plans that Adam was making to depart out of the land. And it came to pass that the Benelites were so darkened and corrupted by the power of Satan that they did not want Adam and those who would follow him to leave the land undisturbed. And they knew that they were going to inherit the land of Eden, for this had been one of the purposes for which they had stirred up the Canaanites to anger against the other sons and daughters of Adam. But their utmost desire was to enslave the children of Adam, so that they would not have to work with their own hands. And the leaders of the Benelites called together their captains and their chiefs, and gave unto them a commandment that they should immediately go in among the people of Adam, and keep them from leaving the land of Eden. And it came to pass that as the Canaanites were gathering their armies together to do that thing that they were commanded, an exceedingly great storm gathered in their lands, and there came great whirlwinds that carried many of them away, and destroyed their homes and their precious things. And the Canaanites became sore afraid, did not unite at this time to go up against the people of Adam. And thus we can see that the promises of the Lord shall be fulfilled unto all those who keep his commandments. And it came to pass that Adam and those who followed him were guided by the Spirit whither they should go. And they constructed ships that had never before been seen among them, even according to the Spirit that directed them in the construction of these ships. And they carried forth many of the seeds that they had harvested in the land of Eden, and they also took with them many of the animals that they had trained to help them till the earth and harvest the fruits thereof. And it came to pass that they set forth upon the many waters, and travelled until they came to a great continent that they had never seen before. And they entered into a waterway that carried them into the middle of this continent. And when they had entered into this passage between the lands, they travelled for a time on the great expanse of sea that was enclosed by these great continents. And they travelled upon this sea until they came to a great river that flowed into it. And they found that the borders of this river were verdant and bountiful, like unto the land of Eden. Nevertheless, these borders were limited in their expanse, and were surrounded by deserts and desolate land that was uninhabitable for the children of men. And they also found in these lands other beings of a lower order that were like unto them, even the descendants of those who had found their way to the land of Eden. And these beings were descendants of those who had bred with the children of Adam, and had corrupted the bodies that God had created for them. And there were many among the children of Adam who had chosen to leave the land of Eden and follow him across the great waters, that were descendants of Beneli, and of those who did not have the pure blood of Adam. And it came to pass that as they began to settle in this new land, many of them began to explore the land in search of other areas where they could live. And as they travelled eastward, they found other great rivers which spilled their waters into the oceans that surrounded the land. And these great continents were exceedingly large. And it came to pass that the sons and daughters of Adam began to inhabit these lands, many of them finding the great rivers that existed there and settling in the borders thereof. And after many years of inhabiting these lands, the children of Adam were interspersed with those other beings of a lower order that were like unto them. And it came to pass that these beings ceased to exist, for they had been driven out of their lands by the children of Adam, or mixed in with them, contrary to the commandments of God concerning this thing. And Amalek and Dameron rebelled against Adam, and were desirous to return again to the land of Eden, and take back the land that they had left for the Benelites and Canaanites to possess. And because they rebelled against Adam, they did not carry with them the words that he had caused to be written, which words contained the commandments of God. And because they had no other form of writing among them, which to use as an example to teach their children, their language became corrupt. And it came to pass that all those who did not carry forth the words that Adam had caused to be written soon found that their languages and manner of communication had become corrupted. And in this way the peoples of the earth began to divide themselves and create their own languages and cultures among them. But among those who listened to the words of Adam and obeyed the commandments of God, and carried this written word among them, yea, even among these they did retain the pure language that Adam had received from the Father. And it came to pass that in the land of Eden there began to be many wars and contentions among the Canaanites. And after not many years the contentions increased to such a degree that the Benelites could not maintain control over them any longer. And the Canaanites had organized themselves into tribes that consisted of the leaders that the Benelites had caused to be formed among them, even their captains and their chiefs. And these captains and these chiefs were ferocious warriors, and they began to divide the land among themselves and take that which they wanted by force. Because the Spirit of the Lord had ceased to administer among them, they were left to themselves. And when a carnal man is left to himself, he becometh even more carnal, and beginneth to think and act like the animals of a lower order, which are driven by their instincts alone. And it came to pass that the Canaanites and their leaders would no longer listen to the flattering words of the Benelites, whose wisdom and intelligence they did not understand. And the Canaanites sought out the Benelites and killed every one of them, and also their women and their children, so that not one Benelite remained upon the land. And the wars and contentions between the leaders of the Canaanites became exceedingly fierce, and there were some among them who were more pacified in their natures, and these fled towards the lands northward, which lands were not inhabitable because of the cold that had overcome them. But in order to save their lives, these fled from among the Canaanites, and they travelled into the lands of snow and ice, where they would not be destroyed by the wars and contentions that existed among the rest of the Canaanites. And not many years had passed before the Canaanites were all destroyed upon the face of the whole land of Eden. And there were some of those who escaped the wars and the contentions, who had fled to the great waters. And they made crude ships after the manner of him who had first deceived Eve in the Garden of Eden. And because these ships were not like unto the ships that the sons of Adam constructed, according to the manner shown unto them by the Spirit of God, they could not travel as far, and many of them found the islands of the great oceans. And they began to inhabit these islands, which supported their needs. But because they did not have the word of God among them, their manner of language was also corrupted. And when the children of men corrupt the language that they have been given, and have no example in writing of this language, then they do not retain the ability to keep a record of their history. And this because they do not know how to write the written words of their languages, not having an example to follow. Thus we can see the importance of the commandments of God pertaining to the words of the prophets that he hath commanded the children of men to keep among them. And thus we can see the importance of keeping a record of the people. And the brother of Jared saw all these things according to the manner in which it was presented unto him by the Spirit. And I, Moroni, can only write a small part of all that the brother of Jared saw pertaining to the children of Adam and their history. But the things that I do write are the things that the Spirit hath commanded me. And the Spirit shall command me according to the will of the Father. For the Father would that many of these things shall be made known unto his children in the latter days, so that they might know the plan that he hath outlined for their salvation. And the things concerning the history of the children of men that I write in this record shall confound the written histories that the children of men have caused to be written among them. For those histories that have been caused to be written among them are not always according to the truth. For those who have written these histories were not present when the events occurred, even all those events that have taken place among the children of men since the beginning. And many of their records are from testimonies of others who were also not present when these events occurred. Therefore, all the histories among the children of men have been corrupted by the precepts and opinions of the men who have taken upon themselves to write these histories. But if a man is not there at the time that an event occurreth, then how shall he make the claim that his interpretation of that event is the truth regarding it? But the prophets of God know the history of men, and these prophets do not know the history of men by the power of their own sight or by their own understanding, but these things are given unto them by the power of the Spirit. And those that are in the spirit world see all things that occur among the children of men in mortality. And the record of these events is recorded by those who have been given this calling by the Father under the direction of the Holy Ghost. And there are also those who travel between the planet on which we live and the planet on which the Father liveth. And these also take a record of that which is occurring on this earth and present it unto the Father, that he might know all things pertaining to this earth that he hath created for his children. And for this reason, the words of the brother of Jared are a more true and accurate account of the history of the children of men, and there hath been no other account that hath been given by the children of men that shall present the truth regarding the events of the past than the words of the brother of Jared. For this reason the Lord hath caused that his words were sealed up and kept from the children of men until the fullness of time, when all things shall be known among them. And when these things come forth, they shall confound the hearsay and the speculations and the theories and the misperceptions of men who are not given the truth of these things according to the Spirit of God. And according to the Spirit of God, a man may know the truth of all things, and have the mysteries of God given unto him. And now, my beloved brothers and sisters, even all those unto whom this record shall come, the words that are written herein are true, and they shall teach you the truth regarding many of the events that occurred during the history of the earth. Nevertheless, I cannot include all things herein, for there is not space upon the plates which my Father and I have made for this purpose, and ore I have none. Therefore, the things that I write are according to the abridgment that I have taken from the words of the brother of Jared, and I write the things that the Spirit whispereth unto me to write. And what the Spirit shall command me, That I shall write. And I know that there are those among you who would that I would write the names of peoples and places and times and events according to the language that ye understand. But these things are not important to the end for which the Lord hath commanded these things to be written. For what is called a name by one people might be called differently by another, and therefore these things can cause contention among you. And the things that are written upon these plates shall be written to bring to pass your salvation, which salvation can only come in and through the words that Christ hath given unto you. Nevertheless, by reading the accounts of the history of the children of men, ye shall begin to see the importance of the words of Christ, which he hath given unto us. And ye shall begin to realize why it is necessary that we abide by them. And this is the purpose of these things. And there shall be no other purpose given for them.